Good morning, guys. Well, it's weight check time. We got the car, we got the van, we got Mr. Weightcheck. Find out how we're sitting. I think we should be okay, but it's good to know. As I keep saying, I've never towed a van before. It's good to know left and right weights and everything, see if I'm packing it right. And yeah, I guess my little concern is car GVM. You don't get a lot of payload with the Jeeps, but we'll find it all out. Moment of truth, we're weighing the car actually. Here we go. So these are all sort of individual, I guess, scales, which are going to give us rear axle, front axle, left and right. All right, now it's the van's time. Check this out. Up she goes. This is the one I'm really interested about. Checking how we've loaded it. I think, if I'm going to be honest with you guys, we're going to be right hand side, very heavy. We got the car disconnected now. You can see there. Got the tow ball weights getting ready to be done, and everything's plugged into the computer. And we can watch this right here. We can see how much weight we're putting on the back of the car. Oh, and up she climbs. $2,650 about there.
Righto. Okay, Laurie, well, we're just going to go through the report now. So as you can see, we've got 3 pages, a report on the caravan, one on the tow vehicle, and the last page is the most important one. It's called a weight profile. So what the weight profile does is it lists all the compliance ratings, what they're allowed to weigh, what it physically weighs today, and whether we're over or under. So I'll show you how it works on that. First of all though, just a bit of an explanation about the first 2 pages. There's lots of numbers and everything on here, but all these numbers collate and go onto the back page, which I'll show you. So first of all, the caravan report, it lists everything on the compliance plate. So the unladen weight of the caravan when it came out of the factory was 1950. The allowable ATM, which is the loaded weight of the caravan, is 2800. So we take the 1950 from the 28, we end up with a payload of 850 kilos. So that's basically what you can put in the caravan. Food, water, clothing, bedding, everything that goes in it. So that is a good payload. Now what I've done here is, this is just our load checklist. So basically I've ticked everything. We've got our water tanks full. We've got food and clothing in it. We've got all our camping gear, tent poles, tool kits, bedding, everything else is in it. So it's ready to go. Yep. Then what we do, we just add in the individual wheel and axle weights. I'll show you this on the back page. And then the tow ball weight goes in here. Now when we're measuring tow ball weight, we've got to measure the tow ball weight at the same height, with the hitch rather, at the same height that it is when it sits on the car. If you move the hitch up or down, then that weight will either decrease or increase, depending on a single axle or a tandem axle caravan. And don't forget, the tow ball weight is important, equally important for the car as well, because it becomes part of the gross vehicle mass of the car. So there's lots of numbers on these 2 pages. Next one is the Jeep, the towing capacity of the Jeep, the GVM of the Jeep, the GCM, which I'll explain to you shortly. When we weighed it, it was full of fuel, had 1 passenger, and a bit of gear in the back. Once again, all the individual wheel weights, left to right, each axle weight. And what this page does is it'll calculate what happens when the Jeep is attached to, when the caravan's attached to the Jeep. It'll work out what happens to the Jeep's payload with the added ball weight, and it'll also look at the combined mass of the whole rig. So lots of numbers on those 2 pages, but basically this is how it works.
That's what it looks like after the wash has had a day.
That's it. So as you can see here, we've got individual wheel weights left to right, each axle weight, tow ball weight, wheel weights left to right. We are on a little bit of a slope with the camber of the road is favouring the left-hand side. So, but when you look at your caravan, you did mention to me before you were worried about the weight left to right, but when you look at it here, this left-hand side is cambered down. So you're within 60 kilos left to right, which is pretty good, and you'd probably pick up that, at least probably more than half of that weight just on that camber. Don't forget, as it's going down the road, it's all independent suspension, it's all working with itself. So if we look at the caravan to start with, we've got three compliances here. So the car can legally tow 3.5 tonne, and that means it can have 350 kilos of download on the tow bar. So we're allowed 350. The caravan ball weight came in at 265, which means you're 85 kilos under that compliance. The next one is gross trailer mass. So GTM means the allowable weight on the caravan's wheels or axles. So we're allowed to be 2,800. We've actually come in at 2,481. It's the addition of those two numbers, which means we're 319 kilos under the allowable weight allowed on those two wheels or one axle. Next one is aggregate trailer mass, or ATM. It's allowed to be, once again, the same amount, 2,800 kilos. So when we add the ball weight to the wheel weights, we come up with 2,746. So it means we've still got 54 kilos available payload in the caravan. So basically what we're doing is we're picking the caravan up and weighing it. Jockey wheels off the ground, we're weighing the tow ball weight and the wheel weights all at travel height, which is the same height it is and it sits on the car. So caravan manufacturers will recommend you have somewhere between 9 and 11% of the overall weight of the caravan on the tow bar. So yours works out to 9.65, so it's just about right on that 10%. So it behaves well, it drives well.
Yeah, it does, tows really nice.
Yeah. I mean, this is only a recommendation by the caravan manufacturers. They say around about 10%. Now, I had a gentleman last week that only had about 8%, and I said to him, how does the caravan behave? And he says, I've done 3,500 kilometres, drives beautiful. So my argument is, if it drives well, leave it as it is. If you don't have enough ball weight, some caravans can introduce sway into the back of the caravan. Yeah. That's one of this. There's many different things that cause sway, but that is one of the contributing factors. So caravan's real good. We've got 54 kilos left, and that's good. Don't forget, you've got full water tanks, you got all your food, all your clothing in there, everything else.
Oh yeah.
Righto, so now we look at the tow vehicle. So the Jeep can legally tow 3,500 kilos, 3.5 tonne. Caravan only weighs 2746, so we're 750 kilos under the legal towing capacity of the car. Now, this is the one that usually gets people: gross vehicle mass and then gross vehicle mass in combination. So gross vehicle mass is the allowable weight of the car disconnected with the caravan disconnected. So whether you're towing something or not, the Jeep can weigh 2949. So the Jeep by itself, gross vehicle mass 2949, just with you in it. No caravan weighs 2724, which means we've got 225 kilos of available payload. However, when we put the caravan on the back, our ball weight was 265 kilos. We add that to that, which means we go now to 2989, which pushes us over the GVM of the car when the caravan's attached by 40 kilos.
Yep.
So we'll come back to that in a minute. Lucky last is GCM, gross combination mass, total weight of everything. On a Jeep can be 6099. We've come in at 5470, which means we're more than half a tonne under, which is 629 kilos, which is miles under. So the way I see it, we've got 54 available in the caravan, but we're 40 over in the car, and we've still got another passenger to go in there. So if you were to take out of the car, if there's available payload, if you could take, say, 50 kilos out, put it in the caravan, we're going to be pretty much on the limit of the caravan, but we're still going to be under. But that now means we've got available around about 90 kilos in the car, which is your other passenger and whatever other bit of gear that goes in it. But other than that, it's weighed up really well. It's just a matter of managing the weight that you've got. Obviously, if this was pushing the boundaries even closer, then it makes it harder to do. But with the numbers there, they're very close, and it's all doable. Yeah, and there's some stuff we can always cull out of the van so we can put more out of the car as well. And this is the heaviest we will be, so yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's right.
It's good to know at our heaviest point, it's not that great to know that I'm over, but it means but I'm not over by a couple of 100 kilos. That's right. So it might just mean, like you said, if what I usually suggest to people, even though you're still under, but we need to get a little bit more payload available in the van. Go through every cupboard in that van, and I'll guarantee you will take weight out. Just weigh everything on the bathroom scales as it comes out. I personally did that about 6 years ago, and without blinking an eye, we pulled 73 kilos out of our caravan in just stuff that we didn't absolutely necessarily have to take. So just a little thing on tow ball weight, I'll just show you on the whiteboard here. So when we weighed the car with the caravan, the GVM of the car, the rated GVM is 2949. When we weighed the car with the caravan on was 2994, and with the caravan off was 2724.
So the difference being 270 kilos. Now, as I just explained to you in our report, we said the table weight was 265. The reason there's a little bit of a difference here is the car went up on those wheel pads. They're 60 mil high, which means when we got the car weight with the Caravan on and then the car weight with the Caravan off, the Caravan's actually sitting nose up. So the ball weight will change when we don't do it at travel height, but we're only talking 5 kilos here. More importantly though, what happens to the car when we put that ball weight on? So if we use that the car weight here, the ball weight rather, when the car was on the scales with and without the Caravan. So 270 kilos went on the tow ball. Let's get rid of that. 270 kilos. The theory behind it is rear axle gets heavier, obviously, front axle gets lighter. The theory is if you multiply the ball weight about 1.5 times, that'll roughly work out to what's happened to your rear axle. So 1.5 times that 270 is 405 kilos. That's the theory behind it. When we look at the actual numbers, your rear axle got heavier by 384 kilos. That's plus. Front axle got lighter by 114 kilos. So just by putting 270 kilos on the tow ball of the car, this is what's happening to your axles of your car.
Wow. That's, you wouldn't have thought about that. You'd just think about the 270 kilos.
Yeah, so the 270 kilos obviously is part of the gross vehicle mass of the car, but what it's doing to the car is increasing increasing the rear axle, decreasing the front axle. So again, this is where all the steering's happening. So this is why people sometimes use weight distribution hitches and things like that. It brings those numbers back together. But it is, for 270 kilos, you're putting nearly 400 on your rear axle. It is quite a considerable change into both those numbers.
Yeah, it is. Thank you for that.
That's all good. If you're looking at tyre pressure, there is an engineer's formula, if you like. It's the tyre pressure should be the actual weight on the tyre, actual weight on it. We're talking about caravan or car tyres.
Yep.
So the actual weight divided by the maximum tyre rating, which is on your tyre.
Yep.
So it'll tell you what the maximum load you can be on the tyre, and you multiply it by the maximum tyre pressure, PSI or whatever kPa. That will give you that'll tell you what you need to be as far as a weight. So when you get time later on, have a look at the report. The report will tell you what weight we've got in. Like for instance, on the Caravan, we've got 1270 roughly. Yep. We've got 112 on 1210 on one side, 1270. So if we halved it and said the average out of the two is 1250, you'd then just have to look on the tyre placard on the tyre. It'll tell you what the maximum tyre rating is. Divide it by that, and then look what the maximum tyre pressure is, and it'll tell you your best optimum tyre pressure for the car, for each of those tyres, and that applies to the car or the Caravan. But once you work out those, because we now actually know each individual tyre weight of both the Caravan and the car, it's just a matter of getting those two details off the ply.
Which I guess they would change as per your tyre, depending on how much sidewall you have, how big your rims are. Yeah, nice.
So each tyre, even different tyres made by different manufacturers, will have a different rating on them. But that'll allow you to work out an optimum tyre pressure.
Yeah, and obviously that's an on-road pressure.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, that's a warm pressure. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much for that.
No worries, Laurie. It's all good.
All right. For anybody that wants your van, car, anything like that weighed and mobile comes to you, this is who we used, and I would highly, highly recommend. We'll put all these details down below and check him out. You got people all over. You got NT, you were saying.
Yeah, we've got a franchised operation at the Gold Coast.
Yep.
One in Toowoomba, Darling Downs, and in Toowoomba now. So we cover southeast Queensland from Sunshine Coast, Gold Coast, Toowoomba, Darling Downs, and all around the Northern Territory now.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Thanks,
all right.
Laurie.
Have a good one.
Safe, mate.
Thanks for everything.
Thank you. Thanks, mate.
See ya. All right, now to go home. Move some things out of the van so we can move some things out of the car. That's all right. We might just throw a couple of cartons of beer, leave them at home.